And I worked for the vice chairman of Gazprom. And trust me, the Russians are very, very dogmatic. Okay, and I said the same thing to Alex that, you know, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said, cut the Russian bear crap. You know? I mean, you know, it was a good story in the 60s, but, you know, it's lost its time. Because the people working for him, they're all smart, they're educated, they got earphones in their heads, and, you know, they're doing all this, and he's trying to be strong, authoritative in an old model. And so, you know, you have to understand that you adapt your model. Does that make sense to you? Any other pregunta? Yes.
I work in a same company of Patricio. He's my boss.
Who?
This is Patricio.
Yes.
And we try to develop several equipment with the power electronics application, mainly for copper electronics process. And I think all of these ideas are doing very well, but I have a more general question to you, considering your experience. My question is as follows. What do you think about the big idea? Is that the people with innovation, you can form him, or you have to educate him to become an innovative people, or you just born as innovator? Because I'm electrical engineer.
Sure.
I have worked a lot here with electrical formulas, and we experiment, we research, we do things as a laboratory, and we get results, and we measure, and we completely analyze the results. But in this second level, in this, I found that all of these things in business is very relative. It's not the same as electrical. This is my dilemma.
Okay, excellent question. In my company, we are comprised of, we have an engineering group, we have a finance group, we have a market sector group, and we have a marketing group. And it is true that we have great fun. I'm a business person, I'm not an engineer. We have great fun in saying to the engineers, they haven't had a creative thought in 20 years. You know, because they're always, you know, they're very, very focused. But Microsoft, Intel, you know, all the great companies wouldn't be here but for the engineers. Okay? That is, now they innovate in different ways. And this is what I think is I think important for you to say. Some people are clearly better at it and want to do it more than others. So it would be a false goal to try and have everyone be a top-notch innovator. Okay. Having said that, it's my belief that every human being has a gene of innovation in them, and they're afraid to express it. I would say engineers oftentimes are more comfortable in their engineering models. That's where they're comfortable, and so they don't want to stretch out of that comfort zone. A financial guy keeps his head in the model, in the financial income statement model, and he's less comfortable going out of it. And so it goes back to having a culture of letting people know how to move out of that. And one word I would use here that I think is very important to innovation is competition. And it doesn't have to be internal competition against each other. But if you can create in your culture a sense that, listen, as a company, we want to do more. We use your transmission company. We want to do more than make circuits. You know, think about what we are. When you paint out for your employees, we're not just engineers and manufacturers of circuit boards or whatever you manufacture. We have, 1,000 customers. We deal with, 500 or 600 vendors. We're in 3 different markets. There are markets in these other companies. Our CEO and you or the managers has said we've looked at other companies to lay out how they've transformed their company and got into different markets and what they've done. And so it's also an obligation of management to start to paint a little bit of a picture. So if you walk into a blank room and say, hey Jim, innovate, he's going to be sitting there like, God, what am I going to do? But if you go in there and start to lay a little bit of a foundation of what the vision of what we used the word vision earlier, I think you did, but the vision is to what the challenges are, what the potential is, because it cultivates, it fertilizes the mind. So that's one thing you do, I think, as an executive. The second thing you do is you make sure everyone understands that you welcome risk and innovation. Okay? And the third thing you do is you start to think through what are the rewards for innovation. Okay, the rewards go for happiness, because when a human being is, I say to my kids, there's a difference between entertainment and happiness. And, it's been a while because I'm older. I used to say it all the time. Entertainment is when you watch TV. It's very passive. You watch a movie. Happiness you can only get by investing in something and getting something back. If you invest yourself into something and get something back, you're happy. Okay? In the same way, with company culture, you have to have your employees say, let's try and do this. Let's see if we can invest in this innovation and see if it works. And you start working that culture, and you will start to see, and again, this first plank that I laid out, you have a responsibility to lay out a little picture. Sit back and say, here's where our company got started. Here's where we were in day one. Let's ask ourselves the question, what did our founder do really well? What was the innovation there? Then we went to stage 2. What was the innovation there? What was the trigger there? Was it political? Was it economic? Was it something good inside? Level 3. Look at our peer company over here. Our peer company in the United States, or our peer company somewhere else. Here's how they went through their stages. Kind of lay out a little bit of a framework for them, and then invite them to say, let's talk about this. What can we do? And get them to do what you didn't do at the beginning of this class, and that is just throw idea out, one after another, question after question, and create that culture of people feeling free. 90% of it, the 90% of the information you get out may have absolutely no value, but the most valuable part is people are kind of dialoguing and participating, and of course, how advertising agencies come up with ads. Does everyone know that, Mom? They put some people in a room, and they will say, come up with an idea, and they'll put the strangest idea on the wall that they possibly can. And it's out of that spray. What's that?
Like brainstorm?
Yes, brainstorm, yeah. Out of that spray comes an idea. At Notre Dame, there's a study center that is just absolutely marvelous that recognizes this. It's not like this. It's a big room, and it's got whiteboards not on the wall like this. Look how rectangular this whole thing is. Okay, and that seeps in your mind. Everything's rectangular. Notre Dame, in the basement of the study center, it's done really nicely. It's open ceiling, but they have whiteboards and big curves on wheels. So you can wheel up 6 whiteboards, and you can start surrounding yourself with ideas. And it basically is an outward sign to stimulate, think out of the box. You know, say what's on your mind. Don't be afraid to say it. Be yourself. And you know, if you have a structure with the company, that it's clear that the management is validating this, and they validate it by doing the same thing, you know, over and over, by doing one or two things across a period of time and rewarding the employee, you'll get to that. But I'm sorry to tell you that I don't think you're going to come to a university where you're going to hear one person come up with one idea that's going to say, Eureka! You know, this works. In my life, because I'm not smart, I'm not as smart as he is, or Jim is, I